All right, welcome everyone to the show. Today, we're diving into something that's both incredibly valuable and surprisingly misunderstood: intelligence. Not just IQ scores, but knowledge, cognitive abilities, the whole shebang. Why should we care about the economics of intelligence? What makes it so different from other resources we talk about?
Exactly. It's not like we can just drill for more intelligence, right? It's a whole different ballgame, and understanding those differences is key to figuring out how to foster it, distribute it, and ultimately benefit from it as a society.
So, let's start with the big one. Intelligence, unlike oil or land, is often non-rivalrous. What exactly does that mean?
Think of it like this. If I use an idea, it doesn't stop you from using the same idea. We can both benefit from it simultaneously. It's not like an apple where if I eat it, it's gone. With intelligence, sharing it doesn't diminish it. In fact, it often enriches it.
Right? It's more like a recipe. If I share a recipe with you, we can both bake the same cake. Sharing it doesn't make my cake disappear. In fact, you might even improve the recipe and share it back, making everyone's cake better.
And that leads to another key difference: scalability. Once an algorithm or a scientific discovery exists, it can be copied and used countless times at very little cost. Think software versus machinery. Building one machine is expensive, but copying software is practically free.
Precisely. And the value of intelligence is heavily context-dependent. A brilliant strategy is useless without the capital, infrastructure, and data to implement it. It's like a key that only unlocks a specific door. The key itself might be ingenious, but it's worthless without the right lock.
Okay, so it's non-rivalrous, scalable, and context-dependent. What else makes intelligence unique from an economic standpoint?
It's cumulative and path-dependent. Knowledge builds on prior knowledge. Science and technology are like massive towers built one brick at a time. Small investments today can lead to huge breakthroughs down the line. You can't invent the smartphone without first inventing the transistor.
That makes sense. Each discovery opens up new avenues for exploration and innovation. It's a snowball effect.
Exactly. And let's not forget how difficult it is to measure and how varied it is. Intelligence comes in so many forms: tacit skills, pattern recognition, social intelligence, domain expertise. It's not a single, uniform commodity that you can easily quantify.
Right? You can't just slap an IQ score on someone and call it a day. There's so much more to it than that. And what about the network effects and spillovers you mentioned?
Those are huge. Shared knowledge benefits everyone. Think of research papers or open source software. The social returns often far outweigh the private returns for the individual or company that created it.
So, basically, investing in intelligence creates a rising tide that lifts all boats.
That's the idea. However, there's also the issue of excludability. While ideas themselves are non-rivalrous, institutions like intellectual property laws, trade secrets, and specialized training can make access to intelligence excludable, at least to some extent.
So companies can protect their innovations and profit from them, but it's a different kind of protection than, say, a fence around a piece of land.
Precisely. Enforcing exclusivity is much trickier with intelligence than with physical resources. And then there's the crucial constraint of attention and time. While ideas are non-rival, individuals' time and attention are limited. That's the scarce channel through which intelligence is applied.
So we might have access to all the information in the world, but we can only process a tiny fraction of it. That's the bottleneck.
Exactly. And finally, we can't ignore the ethical and identity dimensions. Intelligence is closely tied to education, social opportunity, and personal identity. Unequal access to these things raises serious questions of justice and fairness.
So, the distribution of intelligence isn't just an economic issue, it's a social and political one as well.
Absolutely. Now, given all these unique characteristics, what are some of the real-world consequences?
Well, economically, it means that markets tend to underinvest in knowledge because of those high social returns and spillovers. That's why we need government policies like education funding and R&D subsidies to encourage innovation.
Right. And organizationally, Firms are constantly competing for talented people and knowledge flows. They have to design incentives, codify tacit knowledge, and build complementary capital to attract and retain that talent.
And on a social and political level, unequal access to education and intelligence can perpetuate inequality and influence policy priorities. Who gets access to training, and who gets to shape the technologies of the future?
These are critical questions. And of course, technology is constantly changing the landscape. AI, for example, weakens some scarcities by scaling cognitive tasks, but it also introduces new scarcities like compute power, data, skilled engineers, and ethical governance.
So AI isn't a magic bullet. It just shifts the constraints and creates new challenges.
Precisely. So, to sum it all up, understanding the unique economics of intelligence is crucial for creating a society that fosters innovation, promotes opportunity, and addresses the ethical challenges of a rapidly changing world.
Definitely. It's not just about creating more intelligence, but about distributing it fairly and using it wisely. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.